Good morning. Today is Tuesday, July 26th. Trade management applies to every moment of the trade, whether the trade is green or the trade is red. Every moment in which my trade is on means that I have to be managing my trade. It's not, the hard work does not end once I enter the trade, that's how I used to think. I thought, okay, once I do the hard job of entering, then the hard work is over. However, I realized that even if the stock is going up, even if the stock is going down, or even if the stock is going sideways, I have to manage my trade. Let's say the stock goes up 1R. It is possible for the trade to reverse course and drop down to -R. In order to preserve the thesis, then I must manage my trade so that before it hits -1R, I exit the trade so that I can preserve my gain. In the past, it is amazing to me as well that I did not think of this. I thought to myself, oh, I was wondering, okay, so my stock would go up, and then I'd let it ride, and then I'd look back again, and then I find myself down. So I did not put a name on that principle. The principle is called trade management, and that applies to whether the trade is going my direction within the thesis, or it drops and it goes against my thesis. However, that trade management doesn't just apply once I've just entered the trade. I have to keep monitoring the trade to ensure that the thesis is still intact, and I must get out if the thesis is tattered. This reminds me of one of the pro traders who told me about an instance where the person had roughly about 50 contracts that were sitting there, and then he had to go run an errand or something. So when he came back, his thesis was reversed, and he found himself in a deep hole. And then another professional day trader told me about an instance where the trade reversed on him, and he found himself negotiating where he should exit because his greed told him to hold on because it's going to reverse, and ultimately it cost him a serious bundle. Now, these are instances in which trade management needs to work all the time. When I'm in the trade, when I'm in whatever I'm doing, for instance, when I'm holding up a conversation or whenever I'm teaching a class, okay? When I'm teaching a class, I'm having a bi-directional communication. Once the class starts, that does not mean that I'm on an automatic pilot. There could be some questions that need to be responded to. And therefore, trade management is a thread that goes throughout practically every discipline. Even in a meeting, when we have a meeting, when somebody's holding a meeting and you're in charge and you have to go through that meeting from beginning to the end, and it takes like 3 minutes, you don't want any questions. That would be an instance where that is the market conditions does not apply, because it would be reversed. So the market is the person who's presenting. So in reality, what happens is, as a contributing member or the participating member of the stock market, it means that trade management applied to holding a meeting means saying to myself, I'm presenting. However, there could be turn of the tide where the CEO is sitting in the meeting, and the CEO has the authority to direct and guide in the direction that the meeting should go. And even though I am prepared to the teeth from beginning to the end and I have all the answers, however, at a certain time period, at a certain point, then I have to reserve the capacity of the market or the CEO to interrupt and guide the direction of the meeting. So where am I going with this? Where am I going with this? I realized it's amazing to me, such a simple concept did not raise a flag at this point. And I realized I was scratching my head. I'm thinking to myself, okay, why so these massive losses is due to the lack of trade management. Is simply put, these massive losses are due to the lack of trade management. And the trade management requires specific plans for specific instances of whatever I need to do in order to maneuver out of the trade or stay in the trade such that it is for my benefit. As I am aware, for the past all my trades, trade management or the concept of trade management was lacking in my trading skill set. And therefore, I allowed my trade to go down and down and down until I found myself unable to maneuver out of it because it's such a huge drop in my capital. The proper way to trade management is once my thesis is incorrect, I need to get out. So when I have, for instance, and I make this, I was attempting to solve this. I was attempting to solve this problem for so long, and now it has come to the conclusion or resolution that trade management is a instantly and constantly applied while the trade is on. Only when the trade is off, that trade management disappears. But at the time when I have the trade on, however many trades that I have simultaneously, I have to multi-process all those trades so that I am managing my trades. Now it's finally coming to me now. I remember 3 or 4 instances where professional day traders talk about employing stocks. It's like an employee, and that employee is given the opportunity to run with it or just sit in the corner and say, hey, I'm not showing for work today. At which time there's a serious loss that's involved. If certain scenarios occur, then I have the ability to cut my losses and move in the direction that I want to move in by managing my trade. This is a concept that I have never, even in my professional career as an engineer, all I did was somebody told me to do something, I did something. That was it. Whether I'm managing myself or something else, I delegated that responsibility to somebody else completely and utterly and follow through from beginning to the end until the resolution. However, I realized that there is a layer of trade management upon myself to go through that process or not to go through that process. And once certain things occurred where I deviated from that management's direction, then there were some certain consequences that I had to pay for. And I was scratching my head, what was that caused that severance of that trust and that thesis going forward? I hope this makes sense. Because this is truly very, very enlightening to me. This is truly the resolution to, this is something that YouTube does not talk about. I'm not sure why they don't talk about this. But it is, or maybe they talked about it and I didn't understand it. But in order to mitigate heavy losses and manage the trade well, it is called trade management.